so glad that y'all are here today for Craft and Chat. This is exciting. It's an exciting morning. We're releasing a brand new DIY decor kit today, and it is a 5x7 chunky house. And I'm so excited to show it to you. Are you ready? Ready? Okay. This is our new DIY decor kit. Look how cute it is. It says make life sweet. I love anything that has kind of a fun little inspirable message on it. So I think this is just super cute. I love the color combo with the lemons and the limes and this pretty color called Bliss. It's a really beautiful kind of a light teal color. So cute. I'm going to show you the back of this because, of course, I wanted the back to be cute too. So there's more lemon and lime action kind of happening around the sides here. I think it's just super cute and adorable. It would be a really cute addition, I think, to your home decor for the summer. Also could make a really sweet gift for someone else. What do y'all think about it? Do you love it? Yes, Kimberly. I mean, that's where I'm going to be putting mine. I'm going to have mine in my kitchen. So cute. Very full of sweetness. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what all's going to be in your kit. And then we're going to get crafty this morning. And I'm going to actually show you the techniques that are used here on this. Are you going to have to paint out Make Life Sweet all by yourself? No. We're actually using vinyl as a stencil. So all of the kits will have the vinyl stencil and the transfer tape in there. So you're going to get to see my technique for that today, as well as some napkin art and all kinds of fun things. Okay, isn't it cute? I think it's just so super cute. So let me show you what's going to be in the kit itself. We just released it today, just this morning. So I put the link in the description on this post for anybody that wants to order it. It's going to come like this in kind of a Ziploc bag. You can see it says Make Life Sweet DIY Decor Kit. I'm going to go ahead and take everything out here. And the first thing I want you to see is that you're going to have a chunky wood house. This is 5 inches by 7 inches. So it's a really nice size, really good size. And it's 1.5 inches wide. I love the chunky wood. I love it because it just stands on its own. I can put it anywhere that I want. It could be a cute shelf sitter or on a tiered tray, or even just in a little vignette in a little grouping, right? Super cute. So this is the wood piece that will be in your kit. Put that right there. And let's see what else is going to be in our kit. Let's talk about the napkins that are in the kit. You're going to have 2 squares of this pretty yellow and white gingham check. I'm kind of a fan of gingham check, especially in the summertime. And I just thought it looked super cute with this. The other thing you're going to get is 2 squares of this napkin with all of, let me raise this up so that you can see a little better here, with all of the lemons, the limes. You're going to have plenty to play with and incorporate not only on the front of your house, but around the back of your house, wherever and however you want to decorate with the extra pieces. Okay. You have a lemon and bee kitchen. Oh, Belinda, that's going to be so cute. I love, again, this color combo. I love this color combo. I love kind of the citrusy yellow and this pretty fresh lime green. And then this color, this kind of, it's like a light aqua teal kind of color. That's why I chose this paint for our words. I love this color combo. I think it's so pretty. So you will have these things in your kit. Then you're also going to have your vinyl, and it's cut on black vinyl, so it may be kind of hard to see. I think if I hold it right, you can kind of see it. It says Make Life Sweet. Now, some of you may want to just use the black letters, and that's totally fine. But if you want to paint in a color for your sentiment that's going to be on the house, that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to use this vinyl piece as a stencil. So that will be cut and ready for you in your kit. You'll also have a piece of transfer tape. You're going to need that for the vinyl process. And then I didn't do any ribbon on this one, which is, I just didn't feel like it needed it. I decided instead to use these half wood beads, these little half wood beads. I just think they look so cute. Really, really cute. So those of you that really love ribbon, you may want to add your own if you want to, but just I don't know. This one wasn't just telling me it needed ribbon this time. So you're going to also get a little bag here, and it's going to have the half wood beads. You're going to have 6 of them because I used 3 on the front and I used 3 on the back. Okay. Really, really cute. All right. My shirt is coordinating. Yeah, I really wanted to kind of wear a patriotic shirt today, but I thought, oh, that might clash with my beautiful lemons and limes. So I decided to wear green today. Yes, it's so cute. Sylvia, the beads are 12 millimeter, I believe, 12 millimeter. They're just half wood beads. Aren't they cute? Okay, so these are going to be the items that are going to be in your kit. Now, what else am I going to be using? Well, I'm going to be using some paint today. So the colors of paint I'm using my Country Chic paints, which are chalk and mineral-based paints. I'm using the white, which is called Simplicity, and Bliss. This is called Bliss. It is a beautiful kind of a light teal. Oh, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's going to be so pretty with this color combo. I'm going to be using Mod Podge Matte. Some brushes. Let's see what else. Some stickles. Going to be using some stickles for sparkle. Going to do some pen work. Also going to have a white paint pen here handy, and I'll show you how that's going to be used. So let me show you on this again. I just want to show you how pretty the sparkle. Look at the sparkle on the fruit. Ah, it's so pretty. It's just gorgeous, right? So if you're a sparkle fan, you're definitely going to want to add some stickles to your Make Life Sweet house. Okay. All right. Cheryl's posting the link right there. She's here with me this morning. And then I also posted the link in the description on our live today. Okay. So you already ordered. Awesome. Oh, goodness. Hello. Hello, Noemi. Good to see you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get us started because we can continue to chat while I'm painting. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. We're not going to paint these right now. We're just going to focus on the wood house. So I'm going to bring over my handy dandy old find of a Lazy Susan. I keep wanting to alter it, but I keep using it just for messy painting. And we're going to start off with white, which is the Simplicity. And going to paint this whole house white because I want this napkin art to be really crisp and vibrant. I don't want anything to alter the pretty colors. So we're going to go in and paint the sky white. It'll be so pretty. So tell me what's on your craft table right now. Tell me what's on your craft table. I'm curious. What's everybody working on? Is anybody still working on a few last minute 4th of July projects? Anybody doing that? It's called Bliss, Sherry, Bliss. It's kind of a light teal. It's really pretty. B-L-I-S-S, Bliss. One of my favorite colors, actually. And I probably should have sanded the edges of this a little bit first, but I'll do it after. So I like painting the sides first. And it'll just need, if you're using the chalk and mineral-based paints, it's only going to need 1 coat. If you're using like regular acrylic paint, probably you're going to need a couple of coats. Some really good coverage with these paints. So I'll only have to paint this once, which is great. You're working on your summer napkin flag. All right, awesome. Nothing, Renee, nothing is on your craft table. Oh my goodness. Now that I think is a rarity because I see how much you're crafting all the time when you're posting your pictures. You completely cleaned your craft room. That's honestly, that's really what I need to do. I have, my room is fairly clean, but my table has gotten quite cluttered again. Ah, it happens so fast, right? It doesn't take long to get a cluttered table. Sylvia's working on a wooden box, 10 signs. Ooh, that sounds interesting. And fabric items. You're sewing, you're stitching while you're watching. That's awesome. I plan to do a lot of stitching this weekend. I want to I need to kind of decompress and relax. This weekend, we're going to have a really busy week next week. Even though we do get 4th of July holiday, it's our shipment week for all of our monthly Napkin Club bundles and our Fabric Fan Club bundles. So it's going to be busy. It'll be a busy week. You're going to craft tomorrow with your daughter. That's awesome, Jan. I love it when families can craft together. That's one thing I miss about my mom being gone. My mom and I used to craft together. My grandmother, sadly, they're gone now. But now I get to craft with all of you. I always wanted a sister. I just have one brother, and I always wanted a sister. And so I laugh sometimes because look what God gave me. He gave me all these crafty sisters. And I'm so blessed by that. So I just kind of dried the back so I could just quickly turn it over and paint the front. She lives in Connecticut, and you live in, is that Maine or Massachusetts? Maine, I think. My sister-in-law lives in Connecticut. So if we go up and visit, I'll have to, maybe we can have a little East Coast meetup somewhere up there. That'd be fun. Okay, I think this is going to be plenty of paint here for our house. So let me put the lid back on. Sheila, we don't have the vinyl words separate from the kit, as at least as of now. We'll see if we get a lot of interest. We might think about doing that. You're working on the standing stars. Oh, Suzanne, I love those standing stars. You can see mine. They're right behind me right here. Do you see? Right over this shoulder. I really want to make some more. They're fun to make. Kathy, you miss your mom too? Yes. Our mamas are special. Barbara says she has no one close by to craft with. That's what I like about your group. Well, Barbara, I'm glad that you're making yourself a part of the group, because we all need people to craft with. We need friends to hang out with, and even if it's online, that counts. That counts. That counts too. You should tell Barbara, though. You should let everybody know where you live, though, because sometimes you never know. There might be a crafty group or someone in the group that's watching that's from your same hometown. Like, you just never know. I'm going to grab a piece of sandpaper real quick. I probably should have sanded this first. I've got a few little furry edges here. Just sand that off real fast, and I might need to dry this just a little bit more. You live out in the country in East Texas. Barbara, do you know where Atlanta, Texas is? Do you know where Atlanta, Texas is? That's where my husband's from. That's where my in-laws live, about 30 minutes from Texarkana. Yeah. My husband always says this, Barbara. He says, he spent the first 18 years of his life trying to get out of that little town, and now he would just die to be back there. He would love to be back in a little town. Isn't that funny? Oh, that's wonderful. I'll have to watch for her name, for Tammy. That's great. Atlanta is pretty far north of you. Okay. All right. Okay, this is feeling pretty good and dry. So let me move my messy piece here. Okay, what we're going to do to get started is we're going to work on the rooftop of our house. Okay, we're going to work on the rooftop of our house. And so I love check napkins for this reason. But look, I can actually kind of lay this check on here and I kind of know where I need to cut. So just lay your napkin on the top. Do you see what I did? I just kind of laid it on the top near the edge. And I'm just kind of creating a crease there. And then I just have to take my scissors and I'm going to follow along that line in the check part of the napkin. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut this whole piece. It'll be longer than I need it to be, but it's just easier sometimes to just cut that part. And when we lay it up here, I'm just going to kind of wrap it around and over. Now, I want to show you something I did on my house. Instead of going right at the very edge, like right here at this corner, this little edge, I went over it. I went over it. I want you to go over it by 2 rows. Okay, by 2 rows there. Which means I'm going to cut it right here. So 2 rows over the edge. Okay, does everybody understand that? You'll be able to see it probably here in just a second when I put this on. Okay. You just ordered 4 different colors and checked, and oh, you're going to send in some for the napkin swap. Okay, awesome, Jan. Okay, and again, I'm using Mod Podge matte today. That's my preference for wood items. And we need to separate the plies off of this napkin. So I'm going to use my lick and stick method on my finger and just press, press, press. And do you see what happens? It just kind of sticks. If this doesn't work for you, you can always use a little piece of like washi tape or scotch tape on the back ply. And that will usually help you separate. But for whatever reason, the lick and stick method works great for me. I must have sticky spit. Okay. So now when we get ready to put this on, and I just realized my other light is not on. Let me turn this on real quick so it's a little brighter for you. There we go. So I'm going to turn my house on its side. I'm going to dip into my Mod Podge here. And I'm going to bring a little bit of Mod Podge over the edge, over right here, because I'm going to do two rows over. And that's exactly, whoops, that's exactly where I'm going to start. And I want you to just think of this as kind of like a roadway. Don't worry if a little bit of the napkin goes over the edge. Okay, if it does go over the edge, we'll just sand that off. And one moment, please. Okay, I feel the need to explain. I have 2 tables that I craft at in this studio room. And it always seems that I leave something I need on the other craft table. So that's why I had to leave for just a second. I'm going to use my plastic sheet here. But feel free to use like your chip brush if you want to. If you don't know what a chip brush looks like, it looks something kind of like this. I'm going to use my plastic sheet just to smooth that over. And this is what I was talking about. So do you see how I have 2 little rows there? Okay, just 2 little rows on that edge. Now we're going to bring this side over. Oop. Look, did you see what just happened? My napkin tore. I grabbed it a little too, I just kind of stretched it a little too wide, but that's okay because napkin art is so forgiving like that. I'm just gonna lay it back in place. I'm gonna use a dry part of my plastic wrap here. Yeah, it's because this is kind of sharp right there, so it just cut right through that napkin. And you can see I'm going over the edge. Okay. There we go. Move my trash can a little closer to me. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is just dry this just a little bit. And we're going to look and see if we need to sand anything. I think on this one side, I need to sand just a little bit. I usually am really lined up on one side and a little over on the other. That's right. Happy pre-4th buttons. I like that. Happy pre-4th. Yeah, a lot of people are planning extended weekends because the 4th is on Tuesday. So yes, happy 4th of July to everybody. And I hope you get some time to relax and get crafty. We all need that little craft therapy. So I'm just going to sand off. I've got just a little bit on this edge. I'm using sandpaper. You could use a sanding file or sanding block. And I think my other edge is just fine. Okay. So now we're going to do kind of the front part of the rooftop. So remember how I said how we came down? I'm going to just make a little mark here. Just a little dot. So we came down a couple of rows, kind of right there and right there. So we need to bring our napkin to those points. Okay, we're going to bring them to those points. And then I just want you to just use your finger, just press this out. Don't try to measure it. It's so much better just to do this. All of these blocks are hand cut. It's just easier to press it out. If it's easier for you to see it on the other side when you cut it, you can. And we're going to do this twice. We're going to do it on the front and on the back. Let's go ahead and, again, I'm going to peel off my layers. By the way, this napkin has 3 plies. I don't think I said that. It has 3 plies, so make sure you get 1, 2 off. Otherwise, your top napkin is going to try to separate when you decoupage it on. Mod Podge on. And I'm just going to line this up as best as I can. And again, if we need to sand off, we will. So this is our little rooftop of our house. It's so cute. Carefully pull that back. I am using, in case you're curious, I'm using deli bakery sheets as the plastic that I use. But any kind of plastic will work. Saran wrap will work. Any kind of something like that. You can cut open a baggie. Use the sides of your baggie if you want to. All of that. I'm just making sure it's dry enough to turn over because we're going to do the same thing now on the other side. Let's see. It's kind of, I think I can line this up without making marks. Okay, that's about right there. Do it on this side. That fits perfectly. Now this is all extra. You've got some extra napkin there. So you can use that on other napkin art projects if you want. Or if you have a boo-boo, you have an oopsie, you can always use it to patch up. You sprinkled? Thank you. I always forget to tell people to sprinkle for Craft and Chat. I don't know why. Thank you for sprinkling. Thank you for that. Forgetting to take off the plaits is your biggest goof, Janet? You know, sometimes even I will forget. I don't know. I think as a crafter, I get in a hurry. And yeah, when we get in a hurry, that's usually when, you know, we're just not thinking. Perfect. And let's look at it. It looks so adorable. See how it just wraps around. Isn't that cute? And it's not hard. This was not hard to do. You guys can do this. You got your morning coffee, Sally? That's good. Okay, so now we just want to get all of this dry. One thing I'm going to tell you about this is when we get all the napkin art on, it is going to be important to put a top coat of Mod Podge over everything, but I'm going to wait. I'm not going to do the roof right now. I'm going to keep napkinizing. Okay, I'm going to keep napkinizing. I want to show you what we're going to do next. So this is the Make Life Sweet kit that I'm working on, DIY kit that I'm working on. We just finished out the rooftop. So now we're going to start working on the fruit. Okay, we're going to work on the fruit. Please tell us what plastic sheets. Okay, my plastic sheets I use, Cheryl, if you want to be able to grab it, is Get Ready, GETREDDI. Get Ready 8 by 10 and something, 10 and 3/4 plastic deli sheets. That's what I use. I bet you can find it by that. All right, let's go to our napkin. So when you first start cutting on your napkin, I want you, for the front, I want you to cut 1 lemon, 1 lime, 1 slice of lime, and 1 slice of lemon. So basically all of the fruit on one side. And then you'll have the other side to add wherever you want, on the back, on the sides, wherever you want. But we're going to be a little specific about where we put the fruit on the front side of the house, because we have to remember we have the words, right? We have the words to put on. And by the way, I love this blue color so much, this kind of light teal color. When I cut things out, I don't know if y'all can see that, I leave some of the blue. Okay, I want you to leave some of that blue color. It's so pretty. And we're going to come grab this lime. And don't worry about cutting through the leaves. Just cut through the leaves. We want this lime. All right, so now we have a lime, the lime and the slice. Let's come in here and grab the lemon. And again, it's okay to leave some of that blue around. It's going to make a really pretty kind of a, I would call it a highlight, but it's really more like a low light for our fruit, because our fruit is so bright. So on the lemon, let's see if I can get this cut out, you guys. Okay, on the lemon, I want you to keep the leaf that's on the lemon. Keep this leaf and just leave it just kind of like that for right now. Okay, can y'all see all this? And then we're also going to grab this slice, lemon slice. And it might be easier to do what I'm doing. I'm just going to kind of cut it out of the mix here. And then I'll trim around it. And again, you can leave some of that blue. That blue is so pretty. Okie dokie, this is where we're going to start. And I think it might help if I put this down right here. Now it's not going to lay level because, see if I can I'll put a clothespin underneath it because the little beads are on the back. But I'm going to lay this right next to this house, so it's going to be a little easier for you to see kind of where things are going to go. Okay, let's start with our lemon. Obviously, it's going to be a lot easier to peel these if you wait and separate your plies. If you separate them after they've been cut, sometimes literally they just kind of fall off. Make sure you get both plies, 2 plies you're taking off. We're going to start just with the fruit. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to go ahead and cut this little piece off. That little stem, I kind of cut that little stem off. This kit is called Make Life Sweet. If you want to order it, it's available. It's brand new. We just released it today. And we're going to start with the lemon. I'm going to kind of lay things out here a little bit. And of course, you can maneuver things however you want. Just so we're going to start with our lemon pieces. All right, here we go. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. I used my white paintbrush instead of my napkin brush. My Mod Podge brush, I mean. Okay, so let's quickly get that paint off of there. See, sometimes I show you what not to do. I had them sitting right next to each other, and they look exactly the same. Shame on me. Okay, let's try this again. Let's use the Mod Podge brush. All right. So our lemon is going to go real close to the edge. I'm going to say about like that. I might have it a little slightly different, but that's okay. Okay, just about like that. And then our slice, our lemon slice, is going to come about like this. I'm going to overlap it just a little bit, just a tiny little bit, with just the rind part, not really the white part, or at least as close as I can get. And I'm going to smooth all this at the same time here in just a minute. So I'm going to be real careful here. I'm going to go ahead and put the lime in next. So my lime is going to go, I'm going to say, whoop, sliding on me a little bit, right about there. And our lime slice is going to come in right about here. Okay, so it doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but somewhat on this side because we're going to have our words over here. So I'm going to take my sheet now, my plastic sheet, and we're going to rub these out. So they're slightly overlapping, but our pin work is going to kind of take care of a lot of that. So I don't want you to worry about that. Perfect. And be Be gentle when you lift off the plastic sheet. You never want to you reuse a plastic sheet while it has wet Mod Podge on it. Once it's dry, you can reuse them. Okay. You have different colors. You know, I know these things, but why would I use the same color paintbrushes? Like that was a ding dong move on my part. Oh goodness. Okay, we're gonna cut out some more, right? We're gonna cut out some more stuff. So if you'll notice, I've got extra leaves up here. I've got these flowers. I want to work on the flower part first. The only flower we're not going to put on right now is this one because we kind of have to see where our words are going to wind up. So we're not going to put this one on. But look right down here. Do you see how we have this little bitty, let me come down a little bit. We have this little bitty part of the leaf that was over the lime. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a little flower that has a little leaf. It's right here. It's right here. So I'm going to just kind of come in here. And we're going to use that to kind of overlap so it kind of disguises where that was, or where that is, I should say. So let's come in. We're going to come in and cut fairly close, but again, don't, we're going to bubble because we want some of this blue showing. Am I on the camera? Okay. All right, let's see if I can cut a little better this little part right here. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so taking off these plies, just kind of comes right off. I'm going to put in some Mod Podge here, and watch what I'm going to do. This green part right here, I'm going to let that flower over just, whoops, sorry, I'm going to push it over just a little bit. I'm going to let that go there. And pick up my napkin with this paintbrush. There we go. Okay, come on now. It's really dainty. So now that kind of helps cover that part up. And this part, I'm just going to kind of tear it off, but you could sand it off if you want to. I've got a little bit of a wiggle in my stem right here, but I don't want you to worry about that because that's stuff we can fix with our pen work. Okay. So now we kind of took care of that little area. So now we're going to go up here. We're going to go up here. And this one, the flower I want you to use for this one is this one. See how the two are connected? And I'm going to keep the leaves this time. Okay, I'm going to move these just a bit so when I'm cutting, I don't have my scraps falling on wet Mod Podge. So again, we're going to kind of bubble around. So if you do decide to go rogue and just kind of do your fruit however you want, just keep in mind the words. Okay, keep in mind the words. I'm keeping mine all to one side. Keeping some of the blue. And now this is going to be a little bit delicate because we're going to cut out a little bit between these flowers. Okay. So if it's hard for you to hold, you could cut your leaves off and we could just, put them back in place when we Mod Podge. So it's going to be a little delicate right there. All right, we did it. Did it. Thank you, Cheryl, for posting that for everybody. Okay. To clean up my table in a minute. Let's bring these back over. So before I put the Mod Podge on, I just want to show you kind of where these are going to go. When you have a delicate piece like this, when you have something kind of delicate like this, honestly, sometimes this is what I'll do. I'll lay it down before the Mod Podge is even on there. And I'm only going to lift up one part of it. I'm going to lift up one part of it. And I'm going to put that part down first. And that way, I know that part is down. Okay. Now I'm going to lift up the flowers. I'm going to lift up the flowers. And we're going to lay them down. Oops, and that one tore. And again, it's because it's so delicate. So if that happens, you're just going to put it right back in place. And remember, we're going to have these little beads up here to kind of cover up where everything is. Now, I also want some leaves going up over the rooftop. So I'm going to cut a pair. Let's see. It doesn't really matter which pair. I think I'll cut these since it's already kind of cut out here. Let me just cut this part off. But I thought it would look cute going up over the rooftop because you're going to be seeing it, you know, standing, you know, when it's standing up, and it looks really cute. So here's what I'm doing. Do you see how it goes up over the roof like that? That's what we're adding right now. So I'm going to start with what's right here, and I'm just going to bring everything kind of from this center point. More Mod Podge back here. And wrap that over the edge. Perfect. Now I'm going to use my chip brush for this because I do want you guys to see that it's perfectly fine to use a chip brush if you don't have the plastic sheets. If you are using a chip brush, this is what you'll use. It's just a natural bristle brush. You don't put anything on it. I just use it as what I call my my pounce brush. And I'm just going to pounce over everything that I just added. Perfect. Okay, so the only other thing we're going to add on the front is this little flower right here, but we're going to wait and add that after we put on our vinyl. So I want to show you what's left of your napkins. Okay, look, you've got all of this. You've got all of this to play with. You've got more leaves, more flowers. You've got plenty to play with. So I'm just going to work on the front of the house today because the rest is kind of free choice. And I have pictures of this for you. So I'll make sure and post the backside of the pictures and stuff, but, or you can take a screenshot right now. I just did everything kind of around the bottom of the house here. Anywhere I had a blank spot, I just added a few flowers. So the back of this is going to be free choice fruit placement. Okay. Yes. If you're in the Napkin Club, you got this napkin in your bundle. All right. You got both of these actually in your bundle. Okay. So what is going to happen next? Let's talk about what's going to happen next. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and seal this. All right. We're going to go ahead and seal this, which means I'm just dipping into my Mod Podge with my Mod Podge brush. And I'm going to just do a quick coat over everything. If you think the bottom layer is still wet, dry it, or just be patient. I'm kind of an impatient crafter. Dry it with your heat tool, or just be patient, let it dry, because it really is best not to do the top coat until the bottom layer is completely dry. And I'm going to go ahead just while I'm at it and do this side. I'll seal the other side after I do the fruit on the back and the sides, but I'm going to go ahead and just do this part right here. And then we're going to let this dry. And while this is drying, we're going to work on our vinyl. Okay. What about the leaves between? Oh yeah, I did. I missed one. Oh yeah, I did. I missed that one right there. Sure did. Thank you for catching that. Okay, let's add that. Let me grab another little double leaf here. Thank you for catching that. Okay, and I got plenty of Mod Podge on here. So this one is just going to kind of overlap there and there. Perfect. It goes right up there on the top of the lemon. I mean, on the top of the lime. Good catch. Good catch. Thank you. Okay, let's fit just a tiny bit on top of it. Okay. All right. So now, did I miss anything else other than the little white flower that we can't put on yet? Everybody see the placement there? The Mod Podge is going to look milky, but it's going to dry crystal clear. Okay, it's going to dry crystal clear in just a second. Okay, I'm going to move it up out of the way here so it can dry a little bit. And let me kind of clean off my crafting area here. Okay, we're going to work with the vinyl next. Do a quick cleanup. So this is the vinyl that's going to be in your kit. As I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to use the black vinyl letters on your chunky house, you most definitely could. But I really want to use this color. I want to use this Bliss color. I just think it's so pretty in this color combo. Super, super cute, super, super pretty. So I'm going to use my vinyl as a stencil. Okay. So if you're going to use your vinyl as a stencil, you're going to want a little pin of some kind. Okay. Just a little pin. And we're going to start taking out the positive. So the positive, you guys, is actually the letters. And if you want to keep these letters, you can put them on like some wax paper or something. I'm not going to keep mine. I'm just going to treat this like a one-time stencil. But if you did want to keep them, feel free to do that. So I'm taking out the letters. Now, it is going to be important to leave what I call the innards. Okay? You're going to need to leave the innards. The innards would be like the inside of an A, the inside of an E, those kinds of pieces. So just use your pen to kind of help you. This process is actually called weeding, W-E-E-D-I-N-G, weeding. And like on this E, it's a little teeny piece there. Little teeny piece. Make sure and leave that. I made sure this font was a little chunkier so it wouldn't be quite as hard to weave for you guys. Sometimes I use my pen to kind of hold down some of those little bitty pieces. And life is connected. So do you see how it's connected? So we're going to just kind of, again, we're going to kind of be careful. Let's make sure all the little innards are left. And just slowly work your way across to take off life. There's also kind of a little heart shape dot on top of life. Okay, so you see that? Let me tell you this. Okay, yeah, I'm just using a little pin. Let me tell you this. If you lose this little teeny tiny triangle in here, don't worry about it. It's so small. It's not important. So it's so teeny. So we have to seal our napkin art for a couple different reasons. The reason we have to put the coat on this, I am going to do some pen work to it after I stencil it with the sentiment, but we also need to protect the napkin from the vinyl stencil. If we just put the stencil on top of the napkin with it not being, sealed, it could pull the napkin back off when we remove the stencil, right? The vinyl. So it is important to have that top coat on and make sure that it stays completely dry. Make sure that it is completely dry before you move on to put it on. That little guy moved on me. So let me see if I could just kind of get him back in place. Oh yeah, and from accidental painting, if you accidentally pick up your paintbrush instead of your Mod Podge brush, it wipes right off. Cheryl likes to make fun of me. Okay, it's all weeded. It's all weeded. Now, the other thing that I like to do is sometimes, because this is going to go right towards the edge, look at this exclamation mark right here. Do you see how it's right next to the edge? So for me, as far as lining it up, I'm going to go ahead and cut off a little bit of this excess vinyl. Just less to have to touch. We can go kind of around like that. I'm just going to remove some of that. And let me get rid of my letters and stuff. Okay. Sally, I don't have just the words set up for the Napkin Club members, or at least not yet. I'll see how many people are interested in it. But right now I just have it set up in the kit. Okay. All right. So now that we're done with this, we're going to take the transfer tape. Okay. This is transfer tape. And we're going to separate it. Just kind of flip back a corner. We're going to take off the backing. And sometimes you might need to use your pen for this. We're going to take it off just like that. Okay. Now, the sticky side of the transfer tape. Transfer tape, you guys, if you haven't done any kind of vinyl work or anything like that, it's just a vehicle. It's basically just a vehicle to move the vinyl from one place to another. Okay, that's what it is. To transfer the vinyl from one place to another. That's why we call it transfer tape. So we're going to take the transfer tape with the sticky side down. We're putting the sticky side onto the top of the vinyl. Okay, we want the transfer tape on the top. Think about all those T's. Transfer tape top. Okay, transfer tape top. And then my favorite tool is using, like, this was my Sea Pass from one of my cruises. Sometimes I'll use a hotel key card that I kept. Sometimes I'll use an expired Sonic gift card. Whatever you have, like this, we're going to use this as a squeegee. And basically just kind of squeegee back and forth. You want to go all directions. We're going to squeegee this so that our vinyl sticks really well to our transfer tape, especially over those little teeny things, the little teeny innards. Okay. All right. Just like that. Yes, great memories. That's right. Okay, now there's really nothing I can do yet until this is dry. So I'm going to go ahead and take my heat tool to this. Any questions on what I've done on the vinyl yet? Any questions yet? Transfer tape goes on the top of the cut vinyl. So yeah, so the reason I'm taking out the positive is because do you see where the white is? Anywhere the white is, that's where I'm going to be putting my paint. So now I have created myself a stencil. Okay, created myself a vinyl stencil. I am not gifted at hand lettering. I have to practice a lot. So when it comes to certain things, I like to use vinyl as a stencil. All right, so this is drying really nicely. Perfect. I want to make sure it's really good. You don't want to feel any cold or clamminess. You know what I mean? Moisture of any kind. All right, I think we're good to go. So now I'm going to take my vinyl with the transfer tape, all right, and I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to remove the backing of the vinyl. So again, if you have trouble separating this, you might need to use your pen. Okay, and I like to do this on the table. Okay, I like to do this on the table. So what I'm going to do is kind of peel back a bit and kind of crease it like a corner. Yeah, my hands are so messy. Maybe I need to clean them. I have Mod Podge, I have paint. You never thought of using vinyl as a stencil? Oh my gosh, it's going to open up a whole new world for you. That is how I do all of my signs or, you know, anything that I'm doing to add lettering on, because it's always comes out so good. And I'm going to show you my technique today on applying the paint, because I do kind of have a special way that I do it. So yeah, it's going to be great. I'm using it as a one-time stencil. Yeah. With this particular vinyl, I'm just using it as a one-time stencil. Like I said, if you wanted to keep the words, like the letters that we peeled out, you could put those maybe on wax paper or something to use on another project. But with this particular vinyl, I can't reuse it. Okay. All right, here we go. You ready? I'm going to start kind of inching this back. If any of those little innards, like this little E, if any of those little innards stick to the backing, I'm gonna need to go back in and press that down a little bit. So usually as I come to an innard, I just kind of, I give a little extra press. And I've noticed that sometimes depends on like what angle I take things off at. Make sure he's stuck down. These little innards. So he moved a little bit, so I'm just going to use my pen to put him back in place. Yep. Oh, dang it, he moved again. All right. So sometimes taking it off at different angles, but I'm not lifting it. That's what I really want you to see. I'm not like lifting it up, I'm sliding it off. Okay, so I'm kind of sliding it off here. Keep your pen handy in case if you have anything that tries to stick to your backing. And just take it slow. These little tiny innards. There we go. There's that little tiny triangle. The better you squeegee, the better lift, release, I guess we'll call it release, the better release you're going to have. And like I said, you can just kind of come in, start peeling away at different angles. Another little E issue here. They're just so tiny. This is one reason why I have a white paint pen. So I'm going to show you how it helps if you lose an innard. We're almost through. There we go. So you can see this little innard, right? This one I use my pen, but sometimes they're just hard. And if you lose one, they're so tiny. If you lose one, I just really don't want you to worry about it because we can fix it with a white paint pen. Okay, so listen to me now. Don't stress over this. If you lose one of those little innards, we can fix it with a white paint pen. Okay, I promise. All right, so let's bring our project back over here. And now you can see what the purpose of the transfer tape is. I'm going to pop this one more time with some heat. This is how we're transferring this vinyl. There's no way we could have lifted this vinyl off and just laid it in place. We have to have a transfer tape to be able to do that. All right, so now we're going to turn it over and we're going to line it up on our piece. So I'm going to bring this down. Yes, some of the letters are going to overlap some of your fruit. So my goal was to keep, I'm trying to keep my, I might bring it over just a little bit more. Well, I think that's okay. Because look, here is my, what do we call this thing? Exclamation mark. So yes, it's right next to the edge. And I tried to make sure that my letters were not overlapping the rooftop. So again, because of our placement of our fruit, it might look a little different than the original sample. And it is okay for it to go on top of the fruit on the napkins because we sealed the napkins. Okay, so I'm going to use this guy again. I'm going to use this little guy again to squeegee. And then I also, honestly, I like to just use the fatty part of my finger just to kind of get into all the where I'm really wanting to press down is near the cut edges. All right. Oh, you can't see? I'm sorry. Okay, so all I'm doing is just kind of doing this, and I do a little squeegee, and just that fat part of my finger, just kind of right in here. Okay. You learn something new every time you watch. Well, good. I would love that. I'm a silhouette person. I use a silhouette, but you could use a Cricut, a scan and cut. There's so many different kinds. So now I'm going to take off the transfer tape. I've got the vinyl where I want it to be. So I'm going to take this and just kind of peel it back and just watch if any of those little innards, if any of the little innards stick to it, we need to put them back in place. Okay. Voila. Voila. All right. Now, your transfer tape, you can reuse this over and over again until it's just not sticky anymore. So if you kept your little backing, you can just put it right back on and reuse it. Okay? All right. Any questions? Because the next thing we're going to do is paint. The fun part. We're going to paint. Also, while I have this paint out, we're going to paint our beads. Our beads are all going to be this bliss color. And I'm going to show you what I do when I paint my beads. I like to use, I don't like them kind of moving around or having to touch them. I'm going to use a little bit, this is called score tape. It's a double-sided tape. And I'm just going to stick it down on my craft mat here. Any kind of double-sided tape will work for this. Or you could even use, roll over some Scotch tape or painter's tape or something. And I'm going to stick these onto the tape. And then they don't move while I'm painting them. I don't move around. I don't have to pick them up with my fingers, right? It just works great. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and have these out because when I paint on a vinyl stencil, okay, when I paint on a vinyl stencil, my first coat, this is important, is super light, very thin, super light. And then I let that dry. So I'll paint these out. And the reason I do that is because it kind of creates, there is that one dang thingy moved again. I'm about to throw this little inside of that E. I'm about to throw it out. It's frustrating me. Okay. So if we do it on very, very thinly, it's like almost like a primer, and it creates a nice edge along the vinyl. So let me show you what I mean by that. I would much rather have 3 passes of thin paint than 1 thick pass of paint and it bleed through. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm going to just use this little paintbrush right here. Just a little paintbrush. I'm going to dip into the lid because I really don't need to have too much. If you feel like you got too much paint on your brush, go ahead and just paint one of your, you can start painting one of your beads if you want to. I don't like to have too much paint on my brush for this first pass. So here's what we're going to do. You ready? Are you watching? Okay. I'm going to just pounce very, very lightly up and down. I don't have to hit all of the spots. I want this to be very, very thin. And sometimes I'll even pounce it out my brush on just a corner of the vinyl. Super, super thin. So don't be tempted to do a thick layer on this first pass. Keep it really thin, and we're going to have a much cleaner lift off, release. And I am using my chalk and mineral based paints. This is Bliss, the color Bliss. You could use whatever color you want. I just really love this color with this combo. The yellows and the limes. It's just really pretty. So very, very thin. You may still see some white areas, and that is okay. I would much rather do a very thin pass and it come out looking better than going thick and having to clean up a bunch of stuff. Now, even if we do have a little bit of bleed through, I'm going to show you how we clean that up. And keep in mind, we're going to be doing some pin work on this too. So pin work is just like, it's perfect for just fixing things. Okay. So that, my friends, is what I would consider a first pass. Very, very light. You can kind of still see a little bit of white in spots, just very, very light. And we're going to just let it be. And we're going to paint our beads. Have any of you used double-sided tape like this? It's a painter's friend. It really is a painter's friend. And it helps for stuff like this. While I'm painting these, I need to tell everyone that if you're not on the wait list for the Napkin Club, now is a great time to get on that wait list. I'm going to be emailing the wait list one last time for, we were able to get, acquire a few extra bundles for extra seats, or a few extra napkins, I should say. So if you would like to get on the wait list for the Napkin Club, now is the time to do it, because when this live is over, I'm going to be emailing the wait list for this will be the last chance to get into the Napkin Club to get the July bundle, which ships out next week after, they'll be shipping out on Thursday and Friday of next week. A little bit later since we have the holiday. See how easy that is? Easy breezy to paint those. So easy. So now let's take a look at our paint right here. I'm going to pop it just a little bit with my heat tool, But I have a warning to tell you. Some of you have heat tools that are like industrial strength, okay? Be careful not to get the heat too close to the vinyl. We don't want to melt the adhesive on the vinyl. We really just want to blow some air at the paint, okay? So if you've got a really industrial strength heat tool, hold it back. We just want to blow some air. My heat tool is the Craft, it's called Heat It Craft Tool. And it's great because it's not super loud. It is hotter than a blow dryer. So you can see that's why I'm kind of moving it. I don't want to get the heat in one spot for too long. But I like that first thin coat to be dry. Let's look at it up close again, just so you can see. See, you can still kind of see through it. You can still see some of the napkin through it. It's very thin, just a nice thin coat. And it's dry. I have a little wet spot right there. Yeah, I think it's fine to move on. So now my second pass, right? I'm just going to do the same thing again. This time I don't have to worry so much about it being quite as thin. And this second pass makes a world of difference. Now, another reason that I love using the Country Chic paint, the chalk and mineral based paints on vinyl stencils, is because you can completely dry it before you take the vinyl off. You can add stickles on top if you want to and let it dry and then take the vinyl off. Whereas if you're using like craft paint, acrylic paints, they have kind of a, when they dry, they kind of have a film that creates over the top of it. And if you wait too long, if you're using acrylic paint to take your stencil off, sometimes the paint tries to peel up as well, okay? So another great reason to use your chalk and mineral-based paints, because the vinyl's just going to peel right through it. Perfect. Do you see the difference that second coat makes? So let your first coat be really thin. Let it dry. Treat it, it's almost like a primer coat. Think about it that way. And now look, do you see the difference? Big difference, right? Big difference. Now I decided that I wanted to sparkle the fruit instead of the words. But those of you that like extra sparkle, let me just show you here. Do you see my words are not sparkling? My fruit is sparkling. But if you did want your words to also sparkle, you would wait until this is dry, and then you would pounce on stickles on top of it, let that dry, and then pull away your vinyl. Okay? All right, here we go. I'm going to dry this a little bit. I think my beads are fine. I don't think they need another coat. And when you dry this one, this is where if you missed a spot, it will show. So if you do happen to need a third pass, it's really not over the whole thing. It's just like a spot check, right? You're just kind of looking. It's just a spot check to see, oh, I see a little speck of white here. I better touch that up, right? So the third pass usually is just touch up. Spot check and touch up. Okay. I love this paint too with the lemons. It's such a pretty color. I love it. I'm going to just show you something else I did with this color in a vinyl stencil. Y'all want to see? I'm going to show you. So this is, and it's a little worse for wear now, but this is the bar stool that's in here. This little was a wooden bar stool from Walmart, like really super cheap. And then I created this. This is a stencil that I cut with my silhouette. And so I painted, this is Bliss. This is that same color. This is Bliss. And then I think this is vanilla frosting in the stencil. Isn't it pretty? Really pretty way to dress up your furniture, dress up things. But I'm telling you, vinyl, using vinyl as a stencil is the bomb. It is the bomb, and it works great. Okay. Even just like that, if it's just, you know, it doesn't always have to be words. It could be a pattern or something, right? And on my spot check, I'm going to show you right here. Do you see? I see a little bit of white kind of right here, a little bit of white right there. Okay. So that's really the only thing I see. So I'm just going to touch up just those spots. And that's it. Thank you guys. It's so pretty. It was so easy to do. So easy to do. And of course, if you're doing a bigger piece like that, you would use a bigger brush, like a stencil brush, on something, that's bigger like this. And of course, I sanded around the edges, kind of expose the wood, and it's really fun. I just love that there's so much you can do with these paints and distressing them and all the fun things. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and peel these off. They're all completely dry, painted beautifully. My tape will just peel right off, and then the paint will just come off when I wash my mat. The paint will come right off when I wash the mat. All right, are you ready for me to release this vinyl? Let me make sure that's not wet. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take it and just start kind of on a corner. And again, I'm just going to kind of peel back. Don't be afraid. And then we're going to use our pen to go in and pick out the innards. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Don't let me forget that other little flower there. I want to make sure I remember that. So now I've got to take my pen and let's put this one right here next to it because it'll help us know where we need to pick out. So watch what I'm going to do. Do you see how my pen is laying on the wood? You're sliding it under. Don't try to like stab it because you don't want to have, you don't want to have lines in your paint. There's that little bitty E, right? So I just kind of slide my pen under. You'll be able to kind of see them. Okay, got that one. I don't really stab at it. I slide under it. And then there's that little bitty triangle. Doop. Now this is where I was saying, like if one of your innards just went missing, you can't find it, you're still going to use your stencil. And like I said, we can come back in with a white paint pen and just draw it back in. Okay, I think we got all of the stuff, all of the innards. And let's look at it. Isn't that cute? Super cute. Now, if something by chance happens, okay, if something happens and you had a little place bleed through, okay, paint pens are great for this, right? Now, we used white on this base coat, so all you would do is just come in and just kind of clean up a spot. I don't really have a spot to clean, but I'll make that little inside part of that E a little bigger, but it's super easy to do for this, okay? Super, super easy. Okay, questions. I'm using a Teflon sheet. These are just Teflon sheets that I get in bulk. I get them on Amazon. And then, yeah, I scrub them down with a little sponge, the little scrubby sponge to clean them. They clean real easy. All right, we're moving on. Sometimes I will, after I take the vinyl off, I'll pop it with my heat tool one more time, just in case there's a little wet edge, or if I had to touch up anything with my white paint pen. Okay, if I have to touch anything up, then that's what I will do. And I'm going to go ahead now and put that little flower right here. I felt like we had a blank spot, right? I felt like we kind of had a blank spot right there. So I decided to take a flower and have it kind of come up off of that E in life. And like I said, we couldn't really decoupage this on until we put on our word. My plies off. Make sure you use your Mod Podge brush. We just need a little bit of Mod Podge right here. It's okay if it goes over your letters. In fact, I actually like to do it over my letters. So just that way everything kind of has the same sheen. And let's put this little flower, I'm gonna cut off a little bit of the end. Put this little flower kind of coming right off the end of the E. And it just helps fill that little spot. Okay. Now we're going to do something else. We're going to take our little beads here. I used a white paint pen for this. If you don't have a white paint pen and you want to use just like a brush, a small brush with paint, you can. But we're going to do just a little, think of it like a comma, kind of sort of like a comma or a little smiley face. We're going to do one of these on every single one. It's kind of like just a little highlight, like if the sun were shining on it. They don't have to look perfect. Some of them can be bigger than others. But they look really cute. Do you see them on there? And we're going to do a little pin work on them too. Comma, smiley face, just a little blob is fine. Okay, who wants to guess what's happening next? Anybody? Anybody want to guess what's happening next? Pen work. Pen work's happening next. I'm going to lay this down just in case some of that paint is still wet. Pen work is happening next. What time is it? Are we doing okay on time? Yeah. The beads are wood. They're half wood beads. Yes, they'll be in your kit. You'll have 6 of them, so you can put 3 on the front and 3 on the back. All right, let's talk pin work. I'm going to use my Faber-Castell Pitt pen. I want to use something. I want you to use a pen that is going to be steadfast, which means it's not going to react once it's dry. It's going to be waterproof. It's not going to react with moisture again, because we are going to do some fun sparkle. We're going to be adding some sparkle on here. So just take your pen and have a little fun. I call this kind of like almost like doodle tracing. I'm going to do a little around. And you know, some people really like pen work and some people don't really care for pen work. Not that they don't care for it, they just don't feel like they need to add it. And that's totally okay. See, just doing a little bit of pen work around our lemon here. I'm going to do all the fruit stuff here first. So I'm within the napkin. Okay, I'm within the napkin. And I think I'm going to take that as part of the lemon and not the lime. I do kind of a fun double trace sometimes where I'll just kind of trace over it quickly. We're going to do the leaves as well. It just really adds a fun handmade look and touch to your napkin art. And it's just so cute. It's just so cute. Just really gives it a little pop. Let's do the leaves up here. Really fast. Don't press down hard on your pen. Okay, very lightly. You're just kind of skimming over the top. And because we sealed our napkin is not going to try to absorb the ink because it's been sealed with our Mod Podge. And honestly, as much or as little pen work as you want. This part is up to you, personal preference. Don't forget that your leaves go over the top. So that means we need to do a little bit of pen work up here too. There's some fun little marks on these leaves that you could come back in and accent if you want to. All right, let's do the lemon slice next. Can you guys see this okay? Okay, hope you can see okay. So on the lemon, I'm going to kind of go around the, what do we want to call this? The rind of the lemon. So I'm using the small tip. That's the pen that I'm using is a small. And when you hit something, just kind of stop. You know what I mean? Just kind of stop. See how the lime kind of goes over. So I'm going to do a little kind of a double circle here in the center. Okay. And then I'm going to pull out each one of these little slices and do my little double trace. When you hit the letter, just stop. Wiggly is okay. Wiggly actually kind of adds to the doodly look of this. And I honestly think the faster you go, the better it looks because you're not thinking so much. Sometimes we just think way too much when we're crafting. Okay, can everybody see kind of how that looks? Isn't that pretty? I love the black accent on there. I think it looks so good. Okay, let's go down and do the lime. And again, if you hit where a letter is, just kind of stop. Kind of right on the edge here. It's a little hard to. Okay. Isn't that cute? Okay, let's do the flowers. Do you do pin work on the roof line? I did. Yes, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you here in just a second. So let's do the flowers. Now the flowers, again, let's do this bottom one because it's not, I'm going to do a little bit. You can do a little bit on the stem if you want, a little bit on this green kind of half circle. I did a few little lines. And then just if you want to make them pointy, you can. More rounded, you can. And I did that double, kind of double line. Up here, a lot of my flower is underneath the words. I'm going to do a little line here, here. So I just have to be a little more careful, okay? I have to be a little more careful because it's going to look, you know, it's happening behind. I'm going to put a little point right here. I don't know if there is one, but I'm going to put one. And again, that kind of fun double trace. Okay, make it show up a lot better. Right up here. Do this one. And everything I've showed you is exactly what you're going to be doing on the rest of the house with your extra napkin art. No vinyl. You're just going to be able to decorate the rest of your house with whatever you have left on your napkin, and you have plenty. I'll show you on this one. I did a little bit. I kind of let some of my fruit cross over on the side. You're going to have plenty. You're going to have plenty. All of this came from just those 2 squares of that napkin. All right. I did do a little bit on the rooftop. Okay. I did do a little bit on the rooftop. Thank you, Lee. I think it's so cute too. So on the rooftop, I start down here at the bottom, just kind of draw a line. And I did a double line, you know, just kind of that double line, triple line, whatever, however doodly you want to be. Okay. And then I do a little line right here and a little line right here, and then start going up the edge of the house, the edge of the roof. It just looked good. And if you, typically what I'll do is like when my hand lifts up, I just kind of skip a little space and then come back in and do that little double trace there. Doesn't that look good? Now I also did it up here. I did a little, kind of a little double trace line right there. Did a little double end trace right here. I did it here. Okay. And so forth. Let me show you on the sample. Okay, so there it is. There's the top, there's the side, and then the back. Okay, so that part's really easy. I promise we're almost done. We're almost done. Okay, with all the techniques. So the next thing I did was I wanted the words to pop a little bit more, and I'm going to share a little tip with you. Okay, if you're having trouble, if you feel like your ink isn't flowing very well, if you will take your heat tool and if you heat up the area that you're going to work on, so for me it's going to be the words right here, I can actually heat this up a little bit, and it just helps the ink glide. The ink will just glide so well. So now, I'm sorry, I'm getting down low. Can you tell I'm getting down low here so that I can see better? And I'm just going to, the first outline is just one outline. And some of you may just want one outline. Okay, so literally what am I doing? I'm just outlining the letter, okay? But you know me, again, I kind of like the double trace. So if you like the double trace, you can do the double trace. And also your ink doesn't have to be right on the paint. It can be a little bit off of the paint. And I think that looks kind of cute. And then if you want to come back in and just draw in, you know, extra lines, you can. Again, this whole piece is really just fun. It's sweet. Again, this kind of artsy, doodly look that I love so much. And I'm just going to go right back over it. Remember, this is a heart, so you can kind of come in here and draw out your little heart there. Make sure that you trace out the innards. Sometimes your hand wiggles just because there's texture. There's texture in the wood. So even if you're not meaning to look artsy and doodly, you will. Yes, they do come in different size nibs. The set that we sell has a brush tip, a medium tip, a small tip, and an extra small tip. And that's great depending on how big, whatever it is that you're doodling or tracing or drawing or journaling. It's nice having those different nibs. It's a little trickier here at the bottom because you don't really have anything for your hand to rest on. Oh, and shout out to my left-handed crafters out there. Be careful to keep that side of your hand lifted up. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. I'll come back in and do some of my double tracing here whenever, a little bit. Okay, no problem. You can always come back in and watch the replay. Really, we're at the end. This is really the end. So all that's left to do now is to add the sparkle. And let me show you how that sparkle is going to look. And I'm going to go ahead and plug in my glue gun to get ready to glue the little beads on. So let me turn that on. And when you put the sparkle on, guys, you can use the tip of the stickles if you want. There's like a little micro tip there, or you can use a brush. So I sparkled the fruit. I didn't sparkle the words. I sparkled the flowers. Let's add a little sparkle in. I just used the tip of it for that. So be careful around your letters. I did the white flowers, and let's just kind of squeeze some out on this lemon. And I'm going to take a paintbrush and just kind of pounce it out wherever I want the sparkle to go. It's a little easier with bigger areas like that. Let's do the same. I'm going to squiggle out some on the lime. And again, just kind of pounce it around with your paintbrush. You can control it a little better where it's going to go. This part, let me see. I did the whole thing on the lemon. You'll want to make sure that your pen work is dry, which the Pitt pens dry super fast. But depending on what pen you're using, make sure your pen is dry before you, start putting the stickles on. Make sure that it's a waterproof pen. And it might be easier to kind of come in on the tip in certain areas just because it's so tiny. All right, and I'm just going to use the tip for my lime because, again, I've got letters coming over it, so I've got to stay kind of within those lines. I love it. Okay, let me show it to you. All right, you ready to see the sparkle? You kind of see it? Let's look over here. There, you can see all that pretty sparkle. Isn't that gorgeous? I think it looks so pretty. Let's look at it on this one that's dry. All the pen work, all the sparkle. And so see, by leaving the Make Life Sweet, by leaving it alone, it kind of adds a different texture because it doesn't have the sparkle on it. I didn't sparkle the roof. I didn't sparkle the little, these little guys. But I am going to do a little pen work on them. Just a little bit. So again, with my small, And can you guys see this? I'll hold it up when I get done. I'm basically just outlining it, right? Just kind of outline it. If it's easier for you to do this after they're glued on, you can do it after they're glued on. I think it might be easier to do it after they're glued on. But that's really all that's happening. Just a little bit of pen work. That's it. Okay, let's see if I didn't do any sparkle on the leaves. See if my glue gun's, it's not quite ready yet. So let me show you on this one. You're going to take 3 of these and you're just going to cluster them together where all of your leaves meet. Okay, 3 of them, just cluster them together right where your leaves meet. I did the same thing over here where some of my leaves met. I just clustered them together. And it's so cute because it adds some dimension, right? It adds some dimension to your piece. And it just looks super cute. It just looks so super cute. I think the beads in your kit are a little larger than mine. Maybe I need another glue stick. Let's see. Come on. Well, we'll have to let it heat up just a little bit more. Okay. Well, while it's heating up, yes, the kit is $16 and it includes everything you need. I'm going to leave this one right here. It includes everything you need. The 5x7 chunky wood house. You're going to have plenty of napkin to do your roof with some left over. You're going to have plenty of napkin to do the front and anything you want around the sides or the back of your adorable Make Life Sweet house. You're going to have 6 of the little half wood beads here, 3 for the front and 3 for the back. And then you're also going to have your stencil. You're going to have your vinyl stencil already cut and your transfer tape. Okay, so the only thing you're going to have for the kit would be your paint. I used this beautiful, let's put it over here, this beautiful Bliss color. It's called Bliss from Country Chic Paint. We carry them right here in the shop. I used Simplicity, which is the pure white, those 2 colors, Mod Podge Matte, and then of course pen in what you're using for your pen work, your paint pen. Paint pen is really good to have if you need to clean up any of your stenciling. I also did that little doodah, the little whatever mark on the beads. Okay, so super fun and super easy. It's a beautiful, beautiful kit. And I hope that you enjoyed Craft and Chat today because you got to learn kind of how I use the vinyl as a stencil. That was something kind of new and fun. Now my glue gun's working. So I'm going to put out kind of 3 blobs of glue here. And then you're just going to pop your beads into place. And I liked them in a cluster. I thought the cluster was kind of pretty, just like that. A little bit of, oh yeah, it's much easier to do your pen work on these when they're stuck. So whatever pen work you want to add, and it just kind of tops it off. I just think it looks so adorable. Okay. And you'll have the other 3 for the back side when you decide to do the back. Okay. I hope you love it as much as I do. Yeah, Tide Pool would be a good one. Actually, what's the other one? Tropical Cocktail. That's a really pretty, blue. That would be really pretty with the yellows and the greens. I think I would go Tropical Cocktail. That's a good one. Tide Pool is a little deeper blue, but it would still be pretty with this. Any kind of blues are so pretty with yellow. I mean, they just always look so good. Okay. Well, thanks for hanging with me this long. And I want to also say thanks to everybody that's going to be watching the replay. If you do purchase a Make Life Sweet, our new DIY Chunky House Decor Kit, if you do purchase this, we're going to just send you a link to this Facebook Live. So that way you'll have a link. You can come and watch it. You can fast forward to whatever parts you need to see as you're creating. Okay? All right. Thanks, everybody. And thank you for your advance orders. I know I saw several of you saying you ordered during our live. I hope that you love your Make Life Sweet house.